of a season. This is week 15.
Every game counts.
But this is different from week 1 and week 15.
That's why this game is so big. This game is big because Dallas has a chance to shut the door. They have a chance to shut me up and a lot of other people up, because if they win this week and if the Jets can win against the Giants,
they got the playoffs.
It's over. But if Dallas does what they are known to do in games that they are supposed to have the control in, games that they're going to be favored when they're supposed to win, if they find a way to cough it up,
it's the defense.
They're going it. What about if it's you? Can't say that. If Tony Romo throws 3 picks this Sunday, you're not going to tell me it's the defense.
He's not going to throw 3 picks. Number 1 and number 2.
You sure about that?
I guarantee you that. And number 2, I'm pretty sure that if you look at everything that Dallas come back, because you always want to put it on the pick sixes.
I'm not talking about pick sixes. I'm just talking about picks.
No, I'm just saying that when you want to blame Romo, though, we don't say Romo's a bad quarterback or whatever.
I never said Romo was a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's better than Michael Vick.
I'm just saying here's the norm. When people always want to say, oh, yeah, Cowboys lost because of Romo, they want to go back to a Seattle playoff game. Then they want to go back to a Giants playoff game. Then they want to talk about the pick 6 in week 1. But yet they don't want to fail to realize they don't want to look at the defense and see, okay, what has this defense done in the last 5 minutes of the game?
They've had opportunities. They have had more than one opportunity to sit there and win games.
Because if you look at
if it's clock management too.
No,
it's a lot of clock
I want to go back to
like
the
when
Giants
they lost
game,
to New England, it was clock management. They should have never left any time for Tom Brady. You have to know who you're playing against too.
I agree with Eric, but you know what though? That's the only one case though I would say is different though, because that's Tom Brady. It's just like with Peyton Manning. Even if you give Peyton Manning 40 or 30 seconds, it's like if you remember now, when a couple years ago when those Patriots Colts in Indianapolis, Bill Belichick went for it on 4th down because it was 4th and 1. He went for it because it wasn't score. The Patriots were up. He went for it because he did not want to give Peyton Manning the ball back.
And then Peyton got the ball.
Exactly, because they didn't get the first down on 4th down.
I think this is going to be a very interesting week for 2 teams, Dallas and San Diego, because they're the 2 teams that have the most to gain this week. If Dallas wins, they go play the Giants, whether the Giants win or lose, regardless, for the division. If Dallas loses, everything's up for grabs. All hell breaks loose. You don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
San Diego's in the same boat because San Diego's watching that Jets-Giants game, because if they know if the Giants win.
Exactly. San Diego is right there.
San Diego's right there. And if Buffalo loses, they're right there. The 3 scariest teams in the NFL that you don't want to see in the playoffs is Dallas, San Diego, and I don't care what anybody says. Nobody wants to see Philadelphia in the playoffs.
I agree.
That team was built to win a Super Bowl.
I agree with you. And, with that, that covers the first part of Real Sports Talk Chicago. We're going to come back with you guys
tomorrow.
We'll come back tomorrow with a couple more topics. It's your boy Juice Man right here.
This is Dexter. Have a good one.
Real Sports Talk Chicago right here. It's your boy Jarek here.
Hey, this is Dexter. How's everybody doing today?
All right, part 2, our topic for second topic today, we're going to actually talk about the Chicago Bears and their game yesterday versus the Seattle Seahawks. Dex, I'm telling you, like, the Bears are full
done.
Of bad. Well,
they're just done.
They're obviously done. But talk about just bad luck. You have Cutler going out. He injures his thumb while making a tackle in the San Diego game, which the Bears won. Then, after that, you bring in Caleb Haney. The Bears lost versus Oakland. And then, Forte gets injured. And then next thing you know, you have this whole Sam Hurd incident with the drugs thing. And then if you look at the game yesterday, Johnny Knox got hurt in the first quarter with a gruesome play.
But this is the NFL. If you look at the Packers, they had 16 guys on IR last year. 16 guys. You heard me correct. 16 guys on IR. They still went to the Super Bowl and won.
Well, I understand, but because I'm a Cowboys fan, obviously. But,
and I'm a diehard Bears fan, and I'm a diehard Cubs fan. I'm suffering every day here. Come on, who are you talking to?
I'm hearing from Bears fans. It's not. It's kind of excuse. Their excuse is, we have no quarterback and we have no running back.
There is no excuse. The excuse is we have Jerry Angelo as a GM who gave them no depth. They have nobody on that roster that legitimately should be on this team right now. Who? You have old linebackers. You have a terrible offensive line. And Jay Cutler, we know how good Jay Cutler is now. Jay Cutler is maybe between 8 to 15 top quarterback, which in the NFL, that puts you above 500.
I agree with you right there. Like the Bears defense, you can't I was blaming the Bears defense, even though yes they have played great.
They're tired. They're
tired. But yes, they still made the mistakes. Like I keep telling Bears fans when I'm talking to them either on Facebook or Twitter or my real friends, like yes, the Bears played great versus Denver and great versus Kansas City. They only allowed 10 points.
But it's still an average defense. If you look at them,
an average.
Statistically speaking, they're an average defense. Number one. Number two, they're getting older. Number three, everybody in that secondary is always hurt but Peanut Tillman. Brian Urlacher is going to be 34 next year?
Yeah.
Lance Briggs is going to be 31, still under contract, so he still should be here. But you really have no youth at the linebacker position. Julius Peppers is going to be a year older. You have to start making some transitions defensively. Find new stars.
And I think this is, they need to find new stars. I think this is probably the thing that hurt the Bears the worst. What was it, 2008, the Super Bowl year, 2007? Whatever it was, when they played the Colts. That year, they had signed all of their defensive players to all these contracts and stuff, was where they had no money left.
Well, you had to pay them because they had earned their money from 2005 and 2006. That's just the way it was. But more importantly speaking, you have to look at this team. It's time for this team to make transitions.
I agree with you.
It's gotten to the point, and it just might not be at player personnel. It might be at head coach and at GM. I'm not calling for Lovey's head, but what I am saying is you have to start getting younger. And he only has a year left on his contract.
I agree, but here's the thing.
He's going to be a lame duck coach next year.
He's going to be lame duck, but he should be kept on because can you really blame Lovie Smith for the Bears' problems right now?
No, but you know what everybody says. It's what have you done for me lately, league.
I agree.
Remember, last year everybody had him cut off. His head was gone if they didn't even – they had to win a playoff game.
I agree with you because it's that Bears management. Because Bears management, they don't want to pay you until after the season.
And let's not forget, it's Ted Phillips too.
Exactly. I mean,
these guys have been there for 10 years.
And look at Forte's issue. Forte, they didn't want to do his contracts until after the season. So Forte did the right thing and still playing because he's committed to the Bears.
And he earned a lot of money. The issue with Matt Forte is this: Khalil Bell and Marion Barber played very well. They didn't miss Matt Forte as much as they thought they would.
I disagree.
What they're really missing is a number one wide receiver because they have nobody on that perimeter that can get open. Nobody.
I disagree because Forte is a man by himself. Okay.
I'm not saying that he doesn't have elite talent or he's not a great talented player or he wasn't missed. But if you look at this team at quarterback and at wide receiver, even with Forte, does he make that much more of a difference?
Yes, he does.
Because Khalil Bell and Marion Barber, they played very good these last two games. It hasn't been because of the running attack.
Wrong. Marion Barber had his one game versus Denver.
But look, you told me here statistically last week that he had an excellent game. They lost more of that game because of defense.
Well, what did Marion Barber do last?
They didn't play that bad Sunday until they started turning over the ball. When it became their issue is quarterback and offensive line.
But see, this is the whole thing different. You see quarterback or whatever, but the Bears, your rock is Forte.
No, my rock is Jay Cutler. My team goes as Jay Cutler goes.
But you still have
and he has nobody to throw the ball to.
But here's the whole thing. How do you evolve a passing game in the NFL? You have to run the ball.
I'm not diminishing Matt Forte's value. I've said it all year. They should pay the man. They really should. He deserves his contract. But if we don't get an elite wide receiver or an above average, if we keep on running out there the Johnny Knoxes, the Devin Hesters, and please Roy Williams again, we're going to be in the same position. And that offensive line needs a major upgrade. All I'm saying is we see it every year. Running backs come from nowhere. These wide receivers don't.
Okay, but here's my issue with you though. You want to talk about the running backs and the wide receivers. Look what the Bears were doing though, still with their corporate wide receivers. Jake Cutler had decent, even though they're not your typical number one, number two wide receivers. Earl Bennett was still doing his job.
Yeah, you're right.
Roy Williams, now this ain't the Roy Williams from Dallas now.
No, he's worse.
No, he's actually better. If you look at Roy Williams the past 2 or 3 years, Roy Williams was a bust in Dallas.
Look at the drops he's had this year. He's had it's not about how many catches you get, how many yards you get. It's when you drop the ball, when you make a mistake.
But you obviously
Because the NFL is very close. It's a yard here, an inch there, an interception here, a touchdown here. It's really Marion Barber last week with the fumble and with not falling out of bounds. That's how fast you can lose a game.
I mean, we even have a guest here today. We have Demons here. Like, Demons, like, what do you think about this whole Chicago Bears issue right now?
Well, thanks for having me in, fellas. Chicago Bears issue. Well, for one, I'll agree with you, Jared. It is a management issue. As I say on me and Ken's football show, Football Island, I've been saying this for the past 2 weeks. Everybody from Virginia McCaskey to the Towel Boy has to protect Caleb Haney. He have to be there for Caleb Haney. If the wide receivers aren't producing, offensive line isn't producing, if the wide receiver coach isn't coaching, it's all going to crumble at the end. Then he's going to go back to the end of the bench or go to the bench and say, you know what, I suck.
Because
they have to help him.
Because it's a quarterback-driven league.
It is a quarterback-driven league. And on top of that, he's a backup quarterback who people probably think that he shouldn't be a backup. Now, with Jay Cutler, what he did, he was able to mask a lot of those issues. And, Jared, I will agree with you on this. You do have two rocks. And if they did have Matt Forte right now, you know what? He'll still be the leading receiver, and he will be the leading rusher. And then you can't split him. Now Marks will be able to pull a few little funky things.
Yeah, I agree.
Matt Forte out on the side, and then bring in Barber, then bring in Bell. But when you lost your number one quarterback and your running back.
And two offensive linemen.
Exactly.
And this offensive line was starting to gel. I'm not diminishing Matt Forte's ability or anything, but this is the NFL. You know, running backs, you can find a running back.
You coming down a dozen. You don't have to pay him either.
But you can't find me a top 10 to 20 quarterback right now.
Oh no, you can't.
And
you can't.
Right now, Jay Cutler's biggest issue is he has to mask a lot of things. Number one, because he doesn't have a wide receiver he can continually go look down and get the ball to. When he had Brandon Marshall in Denver, you knew what was going to happen at 3rd and 5.
Even with Johnny Knox, Devin Hester, even with Roy Williams, I don't think he's been all that great, but he's been able to at least get them in a position to succeed. Rolling out. Look at Jamarcus Webb. Everybody was throwing bouquets at Jamarcus Webb. As soon as Caleb Haney came in, what happened?
It's a quarterback-driven league.
Because you know why? Because Cutler knows how to step up. He knows the offensive line. He plays behind.
He's a true vet.
Not in the fact he's a vet. He gets the snaps. And what did Marsh say? Or what has Marsh done? He hasn't really given Haney the snaps. Now it's time to reap what's going on. And also, I said this too on the show. I got to give props to Mike Martz. He called it. He said Haney isn't that great. Maybe he just isn't great in this system. Key play this past game against Seattle Seahawks. Towards about the fourth quarter, midway fourth quarter, everybody knew the game was over. What did Pete Carroll do? He sent the dogs after him. But what did Caleb Haney do? What he can't do. He can't make an audible. He can't call anything.
But that's not Caleb Haney. That's the Mike Martz offense. Because they don't allow you to make audibles.
But you know what? We didn't see that. We didn't see that with Cutler. Cutler can at least get it out.
But he'd call timeouts a lot of times.
Yeah, that too. And then he go cuss out the quarterback. Then he go cuss out the quarterback's coach.
My whole issue with this is it's real simple.
What's that?
They need to upgrade their talent level on the bottom of the bench and on top of the bench.
You can say that with anybody.